Hi everyone, it's Justin here with Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We're so grateful to have you with us, whether you're here in the United States or at some point across the world. We love you. We thank you for your support, and we look forward to this episode today. And today's episode, we're going to talk about the word ambassador, and we're not going to use Wikipedia. We're not going to use the the Merriam dictionary. We're going to use just regular terms that we would think about when we hear the word ambassador. And for me, what that means is for what ambassador means is a person who is a representative from an organization, a country, to others to share, to have camaraderie, to come together, to find ways where we can work together as people of the world, as a human being and as another human being, to be able to link that together and have us be able to talk, share, be able to just come together, break bread, have maybe a luncheon, a dinner, and just talk about life, talk about areas that we have in common. And so for me, I think we all are an ambassador on one level or another. We might not think we are, but we actually are. And so what do I mean by that? So let's think of the sport coach, whatever sport that may be. You or the other person is an ambassador. So you come together with another team. If it's tennis, it's another person, another coach, and you're representing that person, that team, that squad. And so that's an ambassador. And I know we don't think of it like that. We don't think of like, oh, I'm an ambassador for the uh the Chicago Cubs, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots coming up with a Super American football Super Bowl very soon. But every single one of those individuals, from the manager of the locker rooms, making sure the right jerseys, the right pants, the right shoes, the right workout gear, all those things are important. We may look at it and go, "Oh, that's how's that an ambassador?" Well, you want your in that respect, you want your team to be aligned with what has been agreed upon. So if the team is going to be wearing red jerseys with blue and white numbers and letters, you want to make sure that you have those jerseys available for the players on your team. So you're representing your team. No matter how low somebody wants to think of them and be like, well, yeah, I don't have that big of a job, that big of a responsibility. But they actually do. From the player to the coaches to the uh, officials who are going to officiate, all the way from flipping the coin at the beginning, and then whoever wins the flip decides if they want to take the ball. We're talking about American football here, or they want the ball first, which means the other team will be kicking to them, or whether they want the ball in the second half. And so there's all these ambassadors that we don't usually think about, and people don't think that they are. They think that maybe it's only for, something political, like the ambassador to a certain country. Yeah, that's correct. I mean, that is an ambassador. But let's bring it down even to a lower level, like on a day to day. We're an ambassador to our families, the things we do, the things we say. And as I've said, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be, but I'm an ambassador for my family. So the word ambassador really is far reaching. We're representing a family, we're representing a team, we're representing a city, a country, a municipality, a township, a state, you name it. There are ambassadors at every single level. And I was thinking about that today. As I was thinking about what and how to express an ambassador. Because in the up until just a short time ago, I was thinking that an ambassador was only, country to country. Like I represent this country, another country has a representative, and so we we try to work together to have peace and prosperity for both our countries, for both our states. If we're talking about American football teams, we want to have fair play. We don't want it very many penalties. We don't want anybody to get hurt. Sometimes people do playing games and it's not on purpose. It's not on purpose. And so we're all ambassadors. And so you can kind of see where this is going, right? Voices for voices, an ambassador. I'm an ambassador for voices, to members all across the world. I know I say, we reach and uh the 100 plus countries, 1,000 plus cities. I know it gets to be a little bit, I don't know, it just begins to be okay, 100 countries, 1,000 cities. I hear it every time we watch the show or listen to the show. But when you think about it, that's big. That's a lot of countries. That's a lot of representatives. So I am an ambassador of Voices for Voices to countries, to cities all over the world. And it isn't, I don't say this lightly. I don't say this or even heavily to say, oh, look at me, I'm an ambassador. Oh, I don't think of it like that. I'm just sharing what the facts are. That any country, any city, any territory, any province, you name it, I am the face and the voice of Voices for Voices. So that makes me the ambassador of Voices for Voices. And it really is a heavy weight on my shoulders to think that, wow, first off, why have 100, over 100 countries and over 1,000 cities tuned in to the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast? Because we're based in the United States. So, yes, there's a lot of states that we are ambassadors to. But when you start to think about countries, there's a lot of water we have in our world. Yeah, the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Great Lakes, the Mediterranean Sea, the Black Sea. Uh, there's so much water that separates the United States from other countries. And so that to me it is just very remarkable, where we're at, where we've been. We could have given up. Trust me, there's so many times when we could have given up and thrown in the towel, said, you know what? I'm good. We're good. Let's throw in the towel. We're not making a difference, or we're not making a big enough difference. I want to thank Dr. Ray Guarendi, EWTN, whether you're a believer of God or not. A couple years back, he was filming Living with Dr. Ray locally nearby. I had the opportunity to attend the tapings of multiple shows. And I also had the ability to ask questions on the recordings, on the filmings, with my Voices for Voices t-shirt on. Distribution of that show, a lot of countries, a lot. So I want to give Dr. Ray Grande a lot of credit because in part, that's probably one of the avenues that got Voices for Voices out on a much bigger scale across the world, where the amount of countries we've reached and continue to reach, episode by episode. And so without that and those opportunities, I don't know where we would be. But what I do know is sometimes opportunities come that we know about, but for some reason we're not able to at least try. When I went to the taping, I had no idea I was going to be able to ask a question. I was just looking to be in the audience, that at some point the camera may pan across the audience and see my shirt, and so the viewers would see Voices for Voices and may check it out, may look it up. There's times where we aren't able to go and do those things where we already have prior commitments. And those have happened to me too. It's like, wow, I'd really like to do this. I just can't because I already have something that I have planned. So what I'm trying to say is be on the lookout. If you have a brand, even if it's your name and you're using that as your brand to sell something, to maybe you have a show too. Maybe you have something that you want to that you want to share with the world. Keep your eyes peeled, keep your ears peeled. Your provider, the people, your caregivers, let them know that you do have an interest if said opportunity arises. I get asked often, especially in my international travel and just travel in general. You know, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to come here? Why did you? decided to take 3 days and come here and help. And at first, I really didn't have a good answer. I didn't know really what to say other than I'm here, I want to help. However, I can do that, I want to do that. And then I started to think, and that turned into my answer that I saw an opportunity to help. Maybe I was going to be in the region and I could have added a day or two onto my travels. And so for me, in those cases, it's easy to, if I'm able to add those couple of days and say, okay, well, I'm just going to add a couple of days, change my flights, boom, I'm done. And that's what I found on most of these occasions, where that's just where my mindset's at. That's just where my head's at. That I saw an opportunity to help, whatever that may be. Maybe, maybe it's something small. Maybe it's something big. Excuse me, man. But just the fact that my head and my mind is already there, if things line up, I just, and you probably hear this a lot, I just don't think as much. I just do. And I'm not saying I don't think at all. I do think. When I say I don't think, means am I able to, what are the odds that I'll be back in a position like this, that? And that's really what it comes down to. If your mind is already in that headspace where you want to help or whatever your thing is, when it comes up, a lot of times it comes out of the blue, or you may not have had a plan, or you may have had an itinerary, and then maybe a conversation leads to another conversation, and then an opportunity arises. And then you have the ability to say, yeah, okay. How about if I'm going to be around that region? What can I do for in a day or two? And that's really what's been on our ministry, Voices for Voices. A lot of it's planned, and then there's some of it that isn't quite as planned. But when I look back on just that whole, let's say this whole trip, I don't have anything scheduled. I'm just talking about when I look back on a trip, I go, wow, that extra thing that I've kind of found out at the last minute, if I wouldn't have done it, then it wouldn't have made the trip as meaningful. And right, we can't help every single person in the world. I'm not a God. None of us are God. None of us are Jesus Christ. None of us are. I have a huge goal, want to help over 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Do we reach that? I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But it keeps the fire, keeps the grind alive to do shows, to continue, to put my head down, our heads down, and just go after it. And that's what we've do. It's what we've done, and it's what we're going to continue to do. And that right there is kind of part of that formula. So to bring it back to being the ambassador, I am the ambassador for Voices for Voices. I am the face, the voice of the organization that is a 501c3 that does accept donations at lovevoices.org. And we can't do the things that we do. We can't even come to you with these shows without your love and your support. And that's why it's so important if you're able to be able to donate monetarily. Because what you see in here is only a fraction of the time that it takes to make the shows come to life, to be live across all the different platforms, video, TV, audio, podcasts. And we can't do without you. But until I can't do this anymore, I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to be an ambassador for Voices and potentially other parts of Voices for Voices as well. And to me, that's exciting. That we want to think about making a difference. Sometimes it's going to be a big difference. Sometimes it's going to be a small difference. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, we're not even going to know what kind of difference we made to somebody or to some group. We're just not. We see numbers, we see downloads of the show, of the podcast. And we also know that there are dignitaries and presidents and foreign ministers and even spies, I guess, uh, that, they have their ways and methods using private servers and doing things that are a little bit off the grid for their safety. And so we know we're reaching so many people. And I love what we do here, Voices for Voices. I love the fact that I'm able to share my life so you know that you're not alone. The stigma of mental health, mental illness, I'm getting through it the best I can. Got to have a team, got to have a psychiatrist, have a therapist, Gotta take time for yourself. Gotta get good sleep, good rest, rejuvenation. We can go on and on. But just think about that. We're all ambassadors. Just like a previous show where I said we're all extraordinary because we are, because of the things we get through, the hurdles we cross, the obstacle course, they kind of, do we get through day to day? We're all extraordinary. And we're all ambassadors of our families, of ourselves. And say, well, you might say, well, I'm single and I don't have a family. It's just like a personal brand. You're representing yourself from the time you wake up to the time that you lay your head on the pillow at night. Being an ambassador, the same thing. People you meet, people you talk to. You never know what conversation, who you're going to talk to. That could be that point that helps you break through, and where that person might say, I don't want any money. I just want to see people successful. I want to see people getting help. And so that's what makes us at Voices for Voices is we talk about the raw subject matter like this, from ordinary to extraordinary, that we're all ambassadors. Some on what may be thought of as a bigger level, and some not. But it doesn't matter. We're all ambassadors. We all are representing, at the very least, ourselves. At the very least, we're representing ourselves. Could be representing a country, could be representing a city, province, territory, student council. Uh, we're all ambassadors, representatives. And it's up to us to decide what we do with that. How do we take that responsibility? What do we do with that responsibility? Do we just blow it off and go, well, this isn't making a big difference, so I'm not going to put my time and energy into it? Or are we going to put our utmost time and energy and talent so we can be that voice for whoever that is? If it's being our own voice for us, or being voice for a country, for an organization. You see where I'm going with this? Thank you very much for catching this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We're over 430 episodes at this point in time. Thank you so much. If you can watch, you can listen. So many episodes, so many topics, so many guests. Reach out to 25, 50, 100 of your closest friends. Let them know about the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Have them subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe where you consume podcasts. We have new episodes out weekly, sometimes multiple times a week. But we are and have reached that 430 episode mark. And if you can give us a big thumbs up, like, follow, subscribe, share, all those great things. And if you're able to donate, if you're here in the United States, all your donations are 100% tax deductible. We have tax time coming up very soon. Uh, could be helpful to you. And just know that we thank you for your love, for your support, for your prayers. And we can't do this without you. Again, and if you can reach out to 25, 50, 100 of your friends, your friend group, put a post out there, link one of our shows, link our uh, main cover of our show. Let your people know. We'd be forever grateful. We're already forever grateful to you. We wouldn't be where we're at without you. But we're trying to go bigger and better. Uh, we're trying to turn that reaching 100 countries into reaching 300 countries and over 1,000 cities to over 3,000 cities. And of course, that humongous goal to help at least 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. We love you. We're sending good vibes your way, whether you're a believer or not. You can never have too many good vibes. And until next time, let's celebrate the voices in all of us and please be a voice for you and somebody else in need. We'll see you next time, everybody.